Welcome to today's deep dive. And, get ready for a wild ride because we are diving into the fascinating and maybe a little unexpected world of politics, fast food, and can you believe it? Donald Trump's love affair with McDonald's. And we've got a whole stack of articles right here. And let me tell you, this isn't just, a quick snack break. This is about image, strategy, and maybe even a little glimpse into how America sees itself.
Yeah, it's amazing how something as, simple as a photo op, Trump at the McDonald's drive-through can actually be so layered. This isn't just a quick stop on the campaign trail. It's being presented as this very calculated move directly related to the 2024 election and, of course, his opponent, Kamala Harris.
Okay, so let's break this down. I mean, we all know, right? Trump loves McDonald's. I mean, there are stories about his go-to order going back years. But how does this all tie back to Kamala Harris?
Well, it actually goes back to Harris's own story about working at McDonald's when she was younger. And her campaign has actually used this, woven it into her official biography. They're using it to connect with working class voters. It's like saying, hey, she's one of us. She gets it. She understands.
So Trump is basically trying to kind of like flip that narrative on its head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The articles really point out how Trump, again and again, and without any real proof, disputes Harris's claim. It's almost like he's saying, I know McDonald's better than you do. But it's obviously on a much, much larger scale.
Yeah.
We're not really talking about burgers and fries here. We're talking about, undermining her and her attempts to connect with voters, a key voting demographic.
It's interesting because this kind of reminds me of something we were talking about earlier about Trump's recovery from COVID. I think it was in Jared Kushner's memoir. He wrote about how one of the first signs that Trump was, on the mend was his order for a Big Mac, filet-o-fish, fries, and, wait for it, a shake.
It's almost funny when you think about it, like, this huge fast food order is like a symbol of strength and resilience,
Right, especially for someone who's, recovering from a serious illness. It's almost like a victory lap, but through the McDonald's menu.
And it plays into this whole image he's been building up for years, right? Remember those details from Corey Lewandowski and David Bossi's book? They talked about Trump's regular McDonald's order. We're talking 2 Big Macs, 2 Filet-O-Fish, and a chocolate shake. This isn't just like a casual fling with the menu. This is a full-blown love affair.
And he owns that image, doesn't he? Like the billionaire who loves the everyday person's food. But it's interesting the way he justifies it.
Yeah, totally. Like he always says it's about, cleanliness and knowing what you're going to get, no surprises. But I don't know, that doesn't really line up with those stories of his aides running around, trying to put together these huge, complicated fast food orders. I mean, sure, cleanliness maybe, but there's something more there, right? It's so specific.
It really makes you wonder if this whole McDonald's thing is actually working, with voters. Does it come across as relatable or is it just kind of tone deaf?
It's tough to say, honestly. On the one hand, it reinforces that image of him as like a man of the people, someone who enjoys the simple things. But it also kind of highlights that gap between, him being a billionaire and this image he's trying to project. Like ordering 2 of everything isn't exactly, the picture of like moderation or being frugal.
And this brings up something you mentioned before about the McDonald's owner and how they're reacting to all this. This isn't just about Trump and Harris. It puts McDonald's in a weird spot too, right?
Totally. The owner of that McDonald's Trump visited. Talk about a tough position to be in.
Right.
On the one hand, you have this, huge figure, a former president, shining a spotlight, right on your business.
Yeah, free publicity is free publicity.
I mean, yeah. But they also have to be really careful not to, seem like they're picking sides, especially in, today's political climate, which is so divisive. Yeah. And you could tell the owner's statement was very carefully worded, focusing on McDonald's as this company that provides like opportunities. Yeah. He even said working there was a, and I quote, meaningful pathway to opportunity.
Which, let's be real, that's a pretty smart way to handle that whole situation. But it still doesn't really answer the big question, does it? Like, does any of this actually resonate with voters? Makes you think about, like the whole authenticity thing in politics.
That was so interesting, right?
I mean, on the surface, it's like fast food we're talking about here, but it's like, it means something more, right? Like a symbol.
Yeah. Like, think about it. Fast food, especially, McDonald's, it's everywhere, right? Everyone has some experience with it. It means something different to everyone. But it's like this shared experience, you know what I mean? And now it's like we're arguing about like grass and who's allowed to say they get the McDonald's experience.
It's kind of crazy when you really say it out loud, you know, but it also says something about like how our past experiences, even just a summer job or whatever, become part of the story we tell about ourselves. Like, how much does that really, shape who you are? Or is it all just like a story we tell?
Right. It makes you wonder what other, like, totally normal things are actually, like, totally calculated.
It's like, what else are we getting played by, basically?
Right. Yeah. And, like, how much do those stories, even the fake ones, how much do they change how we see, like, our leaders? It's like this whole deep dive on Trump and McDonald's has kind of opened this door, on the stories we tell and the stories we believe about other people.
It really does make you stop and think, huh, that something as small as like a drive-through run could, be so revealing.
It just shows you that sometimes, the most interesting stories, they're right in front of you. And those stories, like, they can teach us so much about who we are, who we want to be even.
We went from a photo op to like the American dream. That's the
Yeah.
best part of a good deep dive, right? Never know where you'll end up.